Hello everyone, I am back once again, and this is going to be a Wi-Fi match for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl once again. Now, my opponent for this match is going to be ItsADevin, which is quite interesting just given the fact that this match is going to be between Devin and Kevin, aka myself. But yeah, so this match is supposed to be an OU match, but you're going to see in a bit right now that my opponent's team is actually going to be anything but. And the team that I have for this guy is kind of a hardcore OU team. It's the Weavile team that I've used a few battles ago. But yeah, and the team that my opponent has basically is kind of reminiscent of what Skyrander used against me, honestly, which is just a bunch of underused mons. But, you know, I can never underestimate anybody because, you know, there's people who can make these teams go a long way. I think you've already seen a few matches of mine in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl of people using like lower tiered mons and kind of putting in quite the amount of works. So, you know, again, it's possible for me to get wrecked, but, you know, we always try not to. Now, my opponent's team, you can already see it right here, but it looks very favorable for my Nidoking, which is actually pretty nice because it's not only Nidoking it favors, it also favors the likes of Garchomp and maybe even Weavile, honestly. Of course, I just have to play my cards correctly and kind of be fully aware of any gimmick that my opponent might have for me here. So, yeah, because of that, just to, you know, go on the offensive right here, I'm going to just go out of the way and just lead off with the Nidoking here. My opponent, on the other hand, is going to lead off with the Cacturne, which is fine with me, honestly, because this favors Nidoking, and I want to believe that he's either going to be forced to switch out, although I'm not really sure into what, because honestly, nothing really appreciates this Nidoking. I was personally aware of this too, so because of that, well, I was considering going for Ice Beam to possibly just land it on the potential Golem switch, anticipating a Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave. I actually decided to go for the Stealth Rocks here. Unfortunately for me, he actually does end up switching in the Golem, which is kind of insane, honestly, because I could have gone for Ice Beam. I was kind of hoping my opponent knew this, but he ended up switching into the Golem. And I do get my rocks up now, but now I have to just literally proc this thing sturdy, which is kind of what I didn't want. Because now I have to lose this thing to an Earthquake, or so I thought, because interestingly enough, he actually doesn't go for Earthquake here, like I thought he would. He actually goes for the Stealth Rocks, and I was thinking, okay, that means I can actually take this thing out with a Sludge Wave now, right? Wrong, because what happens here is that my opponent actually had a Custap Berry on this Golem, and that allows him to just take out my Nidoking as I feared he would do, which he ended up doing, so that's unfortunate for me, actually, without a doubt. Now, I still have answers to this guy's team. I still have the Garchomp, and I still have the Weavile. Now here, because I lost Nidoking, obviously, now I'm going to definitely go into the Garchomp. Because, yeah, this Garchomp is banded, so once again, nothing on this team is going to appreciate anything I have with this Garchomp. I can go for Earthquake and do a lot of damage, or I can go for Dragon Claw. I decided to go for the Dragon Claw just because he does have the Cacturne, and I don't want that to resist the Earthquake too well, and then try to hit me with like a Needle Arm or something. So yeah, I just went for the Dragon Claw. Take out this Golem, thankfully, which is nice. Now here, I'm just going to wait for what my opponent wants to send in. If I remember correctly, I think he sends in the Mantine right here, but I'm not too sure actually. It might be the Mantine though. Here's hoping. Okay, so it is the Mantine. Okay, that's good. So on this Mantine, I know these things can be physically defensive, but I am Garchomp and I am Choice Banded. So I wanted to believe that I could actually still dish out a lot of damage with this this stab Choice Banded boosted Dragon Claw. So, and as you can see right here, it does kind of nothing, honestly, which is kind of annoying. He's gonna retaliate with an Ice Beam, which kind of does a lot. Thankfully it doesn't take me out though. I kind of low-key would have been annoyed if it actually did take out the Garchomp though, but thankfully it did not, so that's good. Here I'm just gonna try to hit it with another Dragon Claw, and thankfully it's gonna definitely take it out. I actually did have my fears that it would live it just because of the recovery it got from the leftovers, but thankfully I was able to just take this thing out, because if it lived, most likely it's just gonna recover and then hit me with another Ice Beam, you know. I could have just finished this thing off with a Rotom though, truth be told, so I'm not really sure why I was like getting panicky there, but I was, you know me. Now here, my opponent is gonna for some reason go into the Pachirisu, Maybe because he knows that I'm actually locked in the Dragon Claw. But I kind of was thinking he would want to like avoid getting hit with the Pachirisu, but he actually was Choice Scarfed, interestingly enough, on this Pachirisu, and he was able to take me out with a Grass Knot afterwards, which kind of took me by surprise because I wasn't expecting this thing to be Choice Scarfed, honestly. Just given how powerless Pachirisu was, I kind of wasn't expecting it to be Choice Scarfed. But it wasn't. It took out my Garchomp crazily. Now that's actually kind of crazy. Seeing a Pachirisu take on a Garchomp, that's like some anime shit right there. But it is what it is, honestly. Now here, I'm actually going to go into the Heatran now. And just go for the Magma Storm, honestly. Because nothing appreciates Magma Storm either, honestly. Again, this team that I have really does well against this guy's team. But this guy has like a lot of funny gimmicks that are actually working out for him. And it's actually throwing me off guard, actually. Which is kind of insane, honestly. That's exactly what I fear when it comes to dealing with teams that consist of underused mons. It's just, I don't know what to expect from them. And you're seeing it come into play right here. Now here, I was going to go for the Magma Storm, just to see what he wants to send in. He sends in this Rapidash, but after Rock's damage, I wanted to believe that this was going to be possibly a 2-hit KO right here. Like, this does a little bit, but it's going to take residual damage from the Magma Storm as well. And I do have Earth Power for this. So because of that, I was kind of thinking of whether or not I should go for it. But there was something that was kind of holding me back for a bit here. And it was the fact that I don't remember if Rapidash can actually get, what's it called, high horsepower in this game. Because remember that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl actually did like take out some moves for some Pokemon. But I just don't know which ones. And I didn't have time to make up my mind here, so I just stayed in and went for the Earth Power. And unfortunately, he did have the high horsepower. So it's just like, damn it. Again, I'm just literally losing mons on my team here because I'm not getting to like find out what the gimmicks are behind these mons. But no need to worry, there's still answers against this guy's team. I still have the Rotom for this thing, and I'm gonna go into it right now. However, he does have the Cacturne as well, and that thing could Needle Arm my Rotom. So here, I think I was just wondering, like, should I Volt Switch this thing and give this guy Switch Initiative? Or should I just stay in and try to go for the Hydro Pump right here? Because Hydro Pump will definitely take out this Rapidash. I wasn't sure if Volt Switch would have, honestly. It's because I also don't remember what the set was for this Rotom. I don't remember if it was offensively invested. Maybe even not invested, might have been able to take it out with Volt Switch anyways. But you're going to see in a bit here, obviously, that I am going to try to go for the Hydro Pump right here. Just because, I just figure why not. Even if he goes into the Cacturne, I can just, you know, switch in Clefable if anything. That thing can take it out with a Moonblast anyway, so there's not a whole lot to fear, honestly. He does stay in and go for the high horsepower, which kind of tells me that this thing was probably choiced. Banded or Scarfed, I don't know, but kind of glad I just stayed in and just went for the Hydro Pump here, honestly. Now, with this Rapidash gone, now my opponent is going to be able to just send in whatever he wants, but what he has is not a lot either, honestly. I believe he only has the Pachirisu, and the Girafarigi, and the Cacturne, which can all be easily answered by Weavile or Clefable, just depending on, you know, how he plays around with his cards and whatnot. Because again, his team is kind of tricky, especially this Pachirisu, because this Pachirisu, if it has the right moves, can kind of answer my Weavile, but I'm actually trying to like not let that happen here. Now here, I was also debating if I should just stay in and go for the Hydro Pump, because again, he could be tricky with this thing and try to maybe go for a U-turn if I try to go for Volt Switch here. So because of that, I try to stay in and go for a Hydro Pump right here. He is going to go for the Grass Knot. And I personally already knew that this Grass Knot was not going to do anything, but I was kind of wondering if he knew that. And seeing how he went for it on my Rotom tells me that maybe, just maybe, he did not. So because of that, I wanted to believe, now that he knows that this isn't going to do anything, he's going to want to switch out, right? And because of that, I do go for the Volt Switch. And he does end up switching out, which is nice. Because he does send in the Cacturne, which was the switch in I was fearing when it came to Rotom. And now I can thankfully just get the hell out of Dodge and send in whatever I want. Now here, I was considering sending in Clefable, but ultimately I am going to just end up going into Weavile instead, just because of the fact that I just kind of didn't want the Clefable to take unnecessary damage. So because of that, I'm just going to send in Weavile instead. And this Weavile, all it really needs to do is just go for the Ice Shard. Because, yeah, I don't want to believe he'll switch anything out. And he is going to go for the Spiky Shield here just to scout out what I'm going to try to go for, you know. I go for the Ice Shard, of course, but nonetheless, I'm going to still go for the Ice Shard because there's really no reason for me not to go for it, honestly. I don't really lose anything going for it. If he switches into Girafarigi, that's just going to take damage, and then I can hit it with a Throat Chop. But this guy is kind of trapped here, honestly. He is going to switch into the Pachirisu, which is going to take additional rocks damage. And because of that rocks damage, this Ice Shard is going to do a fair amount, honestly. It almost takes it out, but I wasn't expecting it to. And even if it, you know, it did, I mean, I can still go for it here if I didn't end up taking it out in one shot, you know? Like, there was literally nothing he can do. What is he going to do? Switch in again? He's just going to take unnecessary damage upon every switch in, especially since the rocks are out. That's kind of why I'm glad I got the rocks up with the Nidoking, honestly. So those rocks were definitely not in vain. Now here, he's going to send out the Girafarigi, which is also going to take out, or not take out, but take rocks damage is what I wanted to say. And here he's I'm going to go for the Throat Chop, and this thing turns out to have a Cobra Berry, which is kind of annoying because I actually was hoping he wouldn't have it, but it's fine, honestly. All he has is an Energy Ball, and that does nothing. If this thing had like Signal Beam or something, that would have been kind of scary, especially depending on the set, but it just had an Energy Ball, and that doesn't do much to Weavile. And I can just finish this thing off with an Ice Shard. And down goes Girafarigi here. And obviously from here, his last one is just the Cacturn, which I think for good measures, I just went for the Ice Shard because, you know, I don't know why. I guess I just didn't feel the need to go for the what's it called, the Icicle Crash. But now that I think about it, that actually does make a lot of sense, actually, because I don't want to risk missing the Icicle Crash, and then this thing having something for my Clefable. I don't know. I don't know what it could have for Clefable, honestly, but I just, you know, didn't want to risk anything here, because I was looking pretty good here so far. But yeah, so this Ice Shard takes out the Cacturn, and we are going to win this match 3-0. 3-0, but this was kind of like tricky, as you saw. Like, there was a lot of crazy stuff going around with this guy's team that kind of made me like wonder, holy shit, is this guy actually going to whoop my ass? But thankfully he did not, so we're actually good on that front. Now, that's going to be one of the matches that I have here with Devin, actually. Because let it be known right now that this guy actually is going to ask for another match, as you can see right here in a bit. He's actually going to request another match, but that's going to be for next time. For now, thank you all for watching this match. Hope to catch you guys for the next one whenever we get to it. And take it easy and have yourselves a good one, of course.